Big doinks. For real, for real, for real. Damn DMA strikes. Straight up booling. Shadow Pack. Pee pee poo poo. Smoking that booba bubba kush. Brother. Big doinks and big. So I realize I do not like going in public. At all. I fucking hate it. I was in like when I tell people I'm like, yeah, I'm not really I don't really like people. Like I don't like going out. I have to be inebriated. I have to be pretty fucked up to just straight up talk to somebody. And I realize that. Like when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, that means you're a people person." No, it doesn't. I have to be inebriated. That's not the real me. I straight up like being online because I'm not forced to interact with people. And I'm not forced to interact with people in general. Like wholeheartedly, you can go in public and not interact with people, and people should respect that. But straight up, I will people watch and I'll be listening to conversations. I'm like, this is retarded. I'm losing brain cells actively. Yeah, fuck that. So I smoked a big doink. I drank 2 beers. Smoked a fat doink, stood outside, got home responsibly. Fuck you people that drink and drive. And no god booing. On G Bulls, I was like, yo, I need to go. Like, I do not want to be around these people. They're worse. Yo. They're like, I don't know, bar people are just annoying to me now. Maybe that's a me thing. Actually, and that's always been a thing. Even when I'm at parties, I'm like, I have to get pretty fucked up in order to interact. Oh, fuck these people. No attack. And I don't know if this is I don't want to say it's an age thing, because I've slightly always been like this. Like, I don't think just because you're antisocial, or for whatever reason, I don't think you need to be an asshole. It doesn't mean you need to be, like, you don't gotta be a dick to people. You can be completely normal and nice and just be like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the vibes, brother. Now you might think I want to, like, no, I want to destroy him. That guy was dumb. And my thing is that, oh, God, man, this guy's annoying. I can put 4, 5, 6. I could play this from the grave. From the grave. Oh. You can pee with your penis. And I firmly believe that, oh, damn. Oh, what? Oh, okay. That makes sense. Not only you don't have to interact with people, you will realize interacting with people is, oh yeah, I can use this as, it didn't count. Damn. You can you can interact with people in a polite way and be like, hey, I don't really want to talk. I've done it, like, where I'm like, I don't really want to talk. Can you leave me alone? Like, the one thing I do not like, I don't want to be touched, like, at all, especially by strangers. Even if it's coming from a good place, I don't like being touched. And when I am clearly not engaging, I end it. Please, just, like, I once had someone, like, take off my headphones. This was, like, probably like a decade ago, but I like got pissed. I'm like, why'd you touch my headphone? Like, I'm clearly not trying to talk to somebody. Sometimes I like to go, this may sound controversial, sometimes I like to go to beer, like, I like to go to some bars and I'll actively all I want to do is just have a couple beers. I don't have to interact with people. Hell yeah. Boom. I'll not want to interact with people, and, like, that's it. Like, I don't think that because I'm in public, you need to approach me or talk to me. And it could be I can understand where people are coming from. They're like, just don't go in public, but that's just, I don't know. That's my take on it. I was like, just because I'm in public doesn't mean not only interact with me. Cool, I won. I don't think that if someone I think people are, hi chat, what's going on, man? I think when people are when they take rejection really negatively and they get pissed, you're a bitch. Like, fuck you. Like, I've approached women I've approached women and been rejected before, and I think it's completely fine, within their right. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks, I appreciate it, have a nice day, and I just move on. Except for when people fucking touch me, that stays core memory. I'm like, oh god, I hate that. I don't even like anyone, like, in general. Friends, it's kind of like different. What's good? What's up, Bobby Random? Bobby Random guy, my man. I'm just ranting because I honestly, like, after that, like, me being surrounded by way too many people, I straight up, like, got to my place. Instead of talking to women, you should write SEO policies. True. Like I like you know the meme they're like what would you do if you had 24 hours? You're like no thanks. Do you talk to women? No thank you. Just do a video of me like doing writing SEL app R&R policies. Yeah, no thanks. But I think that oh fuck, I had to do this. I think that fundamentally it's oh god, I lost my train of thought. That was a funny. Oh, I've been rejected before. I'm like, I'm good, man. Like, you know, I'm straight, and I've had I've rejected people's advances before. I'm like, I'm good, thanks. Yo. Oh, thanks. Actually, I'm gonna. This is kind of a funny story. I actively, on a date once, did. They were talking about something that was relevant to their computer, and they're like, got it. They're like, blah blah blah. But it got me into ranting about Linux for some reason and free and open source software. And they're like, what's Linux? What's free and open source software? Why don't you trust? Why do you care about your? Yeah, why do you care about this? And I'm like, I don't like proprietary software. I wonder if I can flash like Android 14 on a phone that was never meant to get Android version 14. True, you probably could. Wait, this does exist. There was a company like a custom ROM or fork Android that allows you to upgrade to Android 13 or 14 when you're not supposed to. I'm super glad. Why do you care about privacy? Free normies. For real. She was somewhat curious, but I could tell that like she didn't give a fuck. You're retarded. I have nothing to hide. That does make me scream. That makes me. I call people on their shit like that. I mean, this might be the autism in me. But I'm like, yeah, you do. And they're like, you're right. They don't care, but they're like, you're right. That's what I thought you were talking about last night, bro. Damn it. Oh, okay. I hate telling women managers. Fuck them. All my homies hate them. Outdated phone runs Android 13. God, what is it called? I just opened my start menu in Windows to see if it would see an ad, and I saw one. Yeah, because you run Windows. Why I refuse to get good security patches? When will you learn? When will you learn spelling? Never. There was this guy that like It was Blue Droid or something. Nope. This isn't it. It was like I upgraded my Pixel Blue Droid. Outdated. Oh man, this one's gonna hurt. It's my Monero wallet. Ah, fuck, dude, this one's gonna hurt. How is Android 15 on any smartphone? No. This guy like, oh, I'm gonna sound like a fucking schizoid. This guy was like, I installed, like I extended the support. I extended the support of my Pixel device. It was like outdated. I have read about XA boot security recently. Behind, oh and God, apparently it's basically behind ARM in so many ways. Probably. The thing is, there was this guy that like found an Android fork. He found a fork. He found a fork of Android. These guys like Chrome OS seems to have full verified boot implemented, but it's weaker than Android's. I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I was reading like Android's threat model and security model was really written within it was future proofing. Which makes sense because they thought probably this is going to be more mobile and it should be taken serious. I forget who owned Android first. And then Google bought it. Because they're like, money? I mean, we're not going to realistically probably compete with Android's security model. Sometimes I'll read through it too. It's fun. Yeah. Remember, Apple can't get viruses. You could download any malware. Apple will never. It'll never hurt Apple. Remember that. I think Android gets a bad rep because, I mean, different vendors have different security policies. They don't always do full patching. They also allow you to download whatever the fuck you want. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? People mistaken ads for malware. Like those ads that will be, like those apps that will be free. for like cleaning and XYZ, they'll get a bunch of ads. Just because Android has more malware doesn't mean it is weaker security, to be honest. Yeah. Globally, Android has more people. So it's always going to look like it has... Yeah. I agree. I think Android's security model is pretty good when it's correctly implemented. Another problem is people hang on to their phones way out of update, way out of security patching, which is a problem, but it's a problem that is I understand why the problem exists. But I've always thought like Android has relatively good. I mean, Google bought it for a reason, and I think they maintain it and they take care of it well. And I think Google's intention with security is always going to be relatively high. The problem is people think that because it has relatively... In America, it's different. It's... Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they... Dude, they've been using C-Vault since I've started with it, and they've talked about going to a different... Something different, but they never have. C-Vault's also clunky as fuck. And the backup's not good. Like the restore process is not good. I was just talking to someone in the Discord talking about Wayland and cubes. He says it needs to be grandmother ready, or they need to be. They said it needs to be grandma ready. Looking at the old Graphene OS, Copperhead OS was bizarre as hell. Yeah, I wonder if there is a better backup solution. I still use and by the way, Copperhead was a terrible name. Graphene is 100%. Yeah, Copperhead sounds like a Copperhead does sound kind of funny. It's not like I think of the snake. Which is ironic. And I still think that it's really cool that more I haven't met a Graphene OS user in real life, but I'm meeting more Proton and Tuna Nota users, which is awesome. I've met people that know of it, when the Copperhead drama happened, if I remember, there was another ROM. Oh. Probably. It's awesome. I'm more now than I have since I've been using. Portman is basically popular now, which is good. No, it is a good thing. The more people that use Tuna Nota and Proton Mail, the better email security gets and privacy gets. And that's always been relatively my take. I don't like some of the direction that Proton is going for my own reasons, but I still think they should exist. We need competition in the email space that isn't a fucking demon. I even say controversially, I understand that email is not always the. I don't think people realize Graphinos is basically only good at AOSP based on OS now, to be honest. Yeah. Email, you don't realize how much you use email and what good it does do. Damn, you took out my homie. Something like DiveOS. Well, DiveOS target was harm reduction, but yeah, DiveOS was good. I was gonna put it on my I was gonna put it on. I had a OnePlus, and I was gonna put it on that, but they explained why that was relocking the bootloader wasn't possible, and that's because that's a OnePlus issue. And I was a huge fan of OnePlus. And again, I see the reasoning behind DiveOS ability, DiveOS guy not doing it. I can see why. Does it suck and does it leave a hole in the space? Yeah. Hell no, we're not having that bitch around. Pretty much security research have criticized iOS, KLX. Yeah. And I would, damn, do I not have any cards? Okay. That's a W. Dumbass for attacking. And I want there to be competition. I don't like, to a certain extent, I don't like the idea of relying on one company for everything, which are privacy focused. GrapheneOS and DiveOS and technical analysis found to be doing some hardening and not the same fake privacy. Yeah. Like the Freedom phone and the Unplug phone. Well, DiveOS didn't have all the hardening features, but nonetheless, it's something good. He even admitted himself he used GrapheneOS. He said this is for devices that aren't supported on GrapheneOS and that are close to EOL that need some hardening. Since they have hardening paths, hardened web view, and some other stuff. Yeah, 100%. I think DiveOS was definitely a missing tool in the space that is going to be greatly missed. RIP, honestly. I was very sad to see that happen, but I mean, GrapheneOS is non-profit, by the way. They're actually a hybrid. They're both a non-profit and a profit, for-profit. They do the nonprofit to protect them. Yes, truly a based person. Yo, Jack Dorsey apparently was like endorsing him or something. The fuck, am I retarded? Okay. Whatever anyone said in the last 5 minutes, 2 minutes, or oh yeah, like hardened open warp builds and host lists. Yeah, of course. I mean, he's probably just needed to find a full-time job. Whatever you said before the DivOS projects are still maintained and hardened, I did not see. I'm retarded and used the wrong window to search on the internet. Or they're interesting. They're just donos. I wonder how much donations they get. They got to be getting insane amount of donos. In order to maintain the infrastructure of full-time developers. And it's awesome. And I truly hope that Graphene, I think they went to a nonprofit so that they could be protected. DivOS lasted for a long time. Too bad no one funded the. I donated. I didn't donate a lot, but I donated what I could. I only donate. You only donate what you obviously financially can. Don't make yourself homeless, because I don't think anyone would feel good. But yes, it was very fucking sad. I found out on a forum. I was butthurt from that one. That one hurt. I was like, no! Why? Why can't more people throw money at this instead of buying Windows keys? I think the funding, they asked for a lot of funding. We reached our goal, but they even said that, like, after a period of time, it's just not enough. Which sucks. That's why I say support your local. If you use, I do take Louis Rossman's approach on this. If you are blocking ads and you are actively watching something and you get 4 to 5 maybe minutes of value every time you watch that, say it's a 10-minute video and you get a small amount of value, you leave that video with a little bit more knowledge, donate to the fucking YouTuber. Don't be a leech if you can. If you're gonna block ads and you get even a fraction of value, donate to that person, because even though YouTube monetization, it doesn't give you a lot, that donation you give them would be more than what YouTube monetization would be. Especially in the privacy and security space, I'm assuming Google does not appreciate it because they're an ad company at the end of the day. That is how they make their money. And fundamentally, it might not be good for them in the long term to support channels like that. So I always say donate to your free and open source channels that spread it. I'm not sure what the Divos users could have done. Probably nothing. There's not a lot you can do beyond donating. If it's not enough money for them to still financially carry themselves, they need to do the right thing instead of, I mean, he didn't just like disappear out of nowhere. He told people, like he announced to everyone, and I think that's reasonable. Some people just leave. They're like, I'm out. Basically, they had to switch to the unhardened operating system or stay with DiveOS, which isn't maintained. Or go to the stock OS, which is probably not maintained either. Well, they switched to what? I don't know what you're referring to. I missed restream maybe I can look at the YouTube. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. No, what I'm talking no, what I'm talking is the people who used that. Oh, why's my fucking mouse gone so much slower? Yeah, you're right. They probably do not have a lot of choice. No, what I'm talking no, what I'm talking is the people who play back on their main phone or second device and used it. Yeah. You're right. They probably don't have a lot of options. There's a Android for custom ROM people that are like forking it and putting Android 13 like patched up to date like Android on, I can't remember. I don't know if it's good, but it's just something to think about. I don't know what's worse, an out-of-dated Android device that's connected to the internet or a brand new flip phone. You pick. What would you rather pick? Outdated Android 11 Android phone with no patching or security, or flip phone? That's the real question. I'm gonna ask that in a poll. What would people would pick on YouTube? Me, I would pick a flip phone, even though I'm generally against it as a dumb phone. If it was that, I'd be straight. I'd be like, all right, just give me the flip phone, my dog. Android 11 still receives some security patchings though, so it's better than a flip phone. Nah, man, I'm gonna disagree. We out here. Flip phone, at least I'll look cool. I get to pull out the flippy and be like, yeah, where you at? And then hang up. Bitch. Damn, these guys booling. I'm gonna hit you with the shark tank. I'm gonna be like, and for that reason, I'm out. I guess. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna give you 3 big booms. Boom, boom, boom. Graphene wants to reduce the attack surface on the Linux kernel further by removing mouse keyboard support and other stuff that isn't needed. If you're going to use a regular phone till they move to... Damn, that's kind of ass. What if I want to look at porn or something on the internet, you know what I'm saying? I personally don't I don't agree with that. Because like I think it should be the user's choice with something like that. Like if they want to remove it, but I should be able to enable it. Damn. What a bitch for that one. Not Graphene OS, to this motherfucker that just removed my really good card. Choose a number between 1 and 0. Destroy a creature that power greater or equal to that. Choose. You fucking loser. You could just swipe. Bro, you could just use swipe. No. I need physical keyboard mouse. Yeah, never mind. I'm not saying anything further. Tap, open the ASOC keyboard, type your weird shit, and then... Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, exactly. I use only keyboard and mouse on Graphene OS, actually. When I'm typing, when I'm calling people retarded, it's from the keyboard. I carry around a keyboard with me. I actually found an open source keyboard too that I kind of hope that ends up getting enough funding to go public. It's on Kickstarter, but they don't have like a pre-launch like cost. They're just collecting money, I think, to do the development and everything. And then Goon though. Man, thought I was gonna win this one. No, I lost these. What kind of fucking what kind of fucking hand is this? Wizard of the West Coast. Wizard of the West Coast are a bunch of cucks. And I hate them. Me when I win, I love Magic. Me when I lose, I hate Wizard of the West Coast. The real achievement with being able to carry around a keyboard and mouse is with Graphene OS is I can look cool with a giant screen too. Instead of carrying around a big laptop, I'm carrying around phone in pocket, monitor, mouse, and keyboard. IRL though. No, 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 no. No. I didn't want to use it. Okay. I'll keep it. I freaked it. I took her to my penthouse and I freaked it. Damn, he should have quit. Gooning. Oh, I'm silver tier 3. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I should probably fix that and get to the next tier. Fuck otters. I took it to my penthouse and I freaked it. All right. Wait, should be good. Oh man. Oh hell yeah, we good. We cooking today with gas. You know, that flat pack is flawed. I'm pretty sure flat kill is outdated. People said flat pack. One of the biggest problem was unverified packaging. There's probably flaws in it if it's not implemented correctly. Yo, fuck this guy. Later, nerd. Even if I don't use flat packs too often anymore, no, not flat kill. They have broad permissions, and they use X desktop portal, which has PID, which is a verdict for sandbox escapes. Doesn't bubble wrap fix that though? Or a flat seal? Yeah, doesn't flat seal actually fix that? Isn't that the purpose of it? It's supposed to, preferably in my opinion, you should just install the app natively through your package manager and then write app armor SC policies through it and then launch it through bubble wrap or bubble jail. Oh, okay. I thought flat seal, that was the purpose of flat seal. It's supposed to, I don't fuck around with Fedora besides through cubes. Personally. Okay. I can do that. I just know a lot of people bring up flat kill for that reason. They're like, flat kill is like why people don't like flat packs, but I think a lot of the issues have, however, this is my opinion, evaluate depending on your threat model. Yeah. I run a lot of things in virtual machines, and unless they can escape the virtual machine, and if they can, you know what I mean? And it depends. I mean, this is my argument generally with VPNs. If people are like, use a VPN, if you want to be anonymous, and it's like, what if I'm what if the person already knows who I am? Like, it's like, this is me. You know what I mean? That kind of defeated the purpose. Like, if it's a service already knows who I am, then it's irrelevant. There's probably reasoning for having a very air-gapped system having a very sandbox system. Let's do is there trample? No trample. By the way, Flat Seal doesn't fix portable as they identify clients via PID, which is terrible. Then what would fix it? Ew. 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 4. No, I lost. No idea why they also use dbus. They could just open up a socket. Huh. Let's see. Oh! Oh. Private window. XDG. Perfect be the enemy is good anyway. However, all these problems with Flatpak and vice versa, it doesn't mean we shouldn't totally abandon it. Perfect to be the enemy is good anyway. I think Flatpak does relatively decent. Has their pros outweigh their cons from what I've read. From my perspective. Let's see what portal. There's no okay. I would have to understand that. XDG flat pack security issues. PID. I think it's PID. Let's see. Okay. Flatpak has faced criticism regarding security issues, including vulnerabilities that could lead to privilege isolation. For example, CVE 2018-11235 was reported and fixed, but some Flatpak applications like VS Code, Android Studio, that's funny, I used VS Code in a Flatpak, and Sublime Text still use an unpatched version of Git 2.9.3 that's vulnerable to this issue. Additionally, Flatpak has been criticized for breaking the assumption that no two processes can have the same PID while running. The issue arises because files are shared, but the PID space is not. potentially leading to a confusion or a security concern. Despite these issues, developers argue that their primary goal is to provide consistent installation experience across different Linux distributions rather than having a middleman between the users, and they also emphasize sandboxing as part of the security measures. PID use interesting. I haven't actually checked this actual vulnerability. Please more like this question. Is Flash vulnerable to PID reuse? The principle of PID reuse is to spawn a process, open a Unix socket in it, and make the process exit. Hope for that the user spawn a privileged process with the same PID. Use the socket to impersonate the privileged process. Interesting. Here's a rough, incomplete POC. In practice, privileged process means that the process outside of Flatpak, a Flatpak process is with additional permissions. A malicious app could rely on luck or social engineering for this to happen. It seems that a PID is used to quit a few places to identify the process and other end on the other end of the connection. Interesting. While PID namespaces make more difficult for a malicious app to perform PID reuse attacks, I think it's still possible, assuming that the default max PID, estimating the number of dummy processes that we need to create, opening as many sockets as possible in the first child process to get multiple doing a dry run to gather data, maybe a dbus, get connection, Unix process ID, etc. I don't think it's worth keeping an issue open for this. Please report it if you do the research and find an actual vulnerability. This is 2019. Interesting. Huh. CV 2024 42472. Access to files outside the sandbox for apps using persistent dash tech persistent. Chris Williams discovered an issue with how Flatpak mounts persistent directories, which can allow an application using them to access host files. A malicious or compromised Flatpak app using persistent directories could read and write files in locations it would normally have access to, which is an attack on integrity and confidentiality. Interesting. Sandbox escape via request background portal. Can send command outside the sandbox. Let's look up PID security. Oh. By the way, more CVSs just means the project is healthy. It's not a bad thing. No, I don't think it is. People are gonna find security vulnerabilities all the time. If you have none, then there's probably a little sus to that. Like, there's no such thing as perfect secure code unless it's written in Rust. Then it's perfect and is secure. Hence why curl should be rewritten in Rust. They say they have no security vulnerabilities, but if they're in Rust, they would have 0. Just saying. Not Pip. Maybe I have to be more specific. I'm not a robot. In Linux, process IDs are assigned, which can lead to security issues if poorly written software relies on PIDs in ways that, such as using them as seed, an interval random number generator, or create a temporary file name. This can allow potentially nasty local exploits if you're using such software. Interesting. To mitigate these risks, some systems like OpenBSD and Chromium barely has any Rust code. Is it less secure than Fire, which has some chunk? Yes, by default now. I'm glad we're in agreement. We can agree that Firefox is now more secure based on the fact that it has Rust in it. I mean, if you have a brain or two, Chromium is overall more secure. No, Rust immediately makes you more secure, more based. It is the secure operating system. My favorite government sponsored and / backdoored operating coding language. To mitigate these risks, some systems like OpenBSD and FreeBSD have implemented PID randomization. OpenBSD picks PIDs at random from the current unused value. Values between 1 and the maximum, which eliminates local security issues, but can slow down the creation of new processes and possibly break software that expects PIDs to not reuse quickly. FreeBSD allows you to choose either a sequential or random PID generator method, or a balance between potential issues caused by sequential PIDs and PID randomization. However, using PIDs suffixed temporary files can also pose a security risk. For example, if a malicious program creates a system link to a privileged file, it can exploit a predictable nature of PIDs to gain unauthorized access. This is why it's important to avoid using PIDs as a mean to identify resources or owned access by unauthorized clients. Can lead to security vulnerabilities. To avoid PID especially when you writing utilities like Pickled, you can use process file descriptors. If you're running your on a new version of Linux, you can use PIDFD open and PFD send signal to interact with the process directly tied to a specific PID. At the moment this call is made, thus closing the race condition. In summary, while PID randomization can enhance security, it's crucial to ensure that the software does not rely on PID in ways that can be exploited. Let's see what Security Stack Exchange. Let's see what they say. What is the concrete advantage of using random keys instead of traditional sequence ones? I completely own my answer after the movie. PID randomization was popularized by OB and Dissy, which added as soon as 1997. Wow. At the time, it was pursued in two main goals: protect against PID prediction vulnerabilities affecting mostly software which use the PID value to generate temporary file names. This was a common concern at the time, but today I would think it would be quite rare to encounter a production level software to still not using a proper method. A general preventative measure: if something can be random, make it random. Encompassing putting is at several places at the OS, from the IP stack to the memory allocation, while some of the protection resulting from the randomness provide to be useful and become more common. PID randomization has more of trouble history. As detailed in my question, the cure may be worse than the disease. That's crazy. I like that saying though. The cure may be worse than the disease. Due to faster PID reuse, fully random PID may allow remote exploit flaws, which sequentially PID was mainly known to allow local exploits. As a side note, in addition to ideal world, all this should not cause any issue. Yes, I talk of an ideal world where software is free of bugs and vulnerabilities. In fact, these vulnerabilities usually find their root in the wrong usage of PID. Wikipedia defines the PID as being as a number used of uniquely identified process. Therefore, a PID is not designed to build temporary file names. Temporary files are created in a shared space. Interesting. Wow, based. I'll have to bookmark that one. No. There's so many cool exploits out there in the Linux space, and I hate to say it like that, but it is truly cool to see stuff in the Linux space, the Windows space, the non-Linux operating system. I like seeing exploits happen because it's very interesting that someone has thought of this. They looked at it and they're like, I'm gonna find a way to exploit this. It's very cool. There was recently, oh, you know, Ladybird, right? There was recently a CVE related to it. Someone was able to pull off a sandbox escape, probably the first sandbox escape for a Ladybird tool. Oh, no, I did not know that. That's kind of based. That's cool. I mean, it's cool when people, good people can find this, because you know that they, hopefully they do the right thing and they fix it. They get it fixed. When they, obviously, in my opinion, financially is an L to them, because they could take these tools and maybe sell them for thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions, to, you know, big companies that want to see the downfall of certain things. I'll have to look that up. Is it on GitHub? Straight booing. Damn it. It's called Pony Ladybird's lib.js. They should have used Libre.js. That was their first mistake. No lib.js, Libre.js. That's why they kind of deserve it now. Damn. Okay, just look it up. I will, and I'll criticize them for not using Libre.js. Oh! I will after this. Damn it. Pull up the Lion browser after this match. Lion browser? What the fuck's that? Come on, give me something good. Oh. I will pull up the wine browser. Damn. The fuck? There's gotta be a reason. Shit's rigged. Happens to pull out a something to get 3/3. That's crazy. And I'm getting fucking mana right here, man. That's insane. Oh my god, I hate fucking Wizards of the West Coast. They're a bunch of cucks, bro. You gotta be smoking literal fucking crack to think that that's somehow this retard has zero. I've been drawing nothing but land, and this retard has that. Pulls this out of his asshole. I feel like Brave is good on mobile, but on desktop it feels like, man. I actually like Brave. I don't know. I don't really care for Firefox. It's okay. Stock Chromium, I feel like is the way better. I suggest using Brave for the normies who couldn't get used to Firefox. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't like Stock Chromium. I'll be honest. I tried to. I actually got Trivium to kind of work. I got to work in cubes, which was cool. Secure Blues like browser. Just test it out. Yeah, okay. This fucking loser is gonna pull all this out of his asshole. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What's a horse crack? It's gonna attack. Yeah, Trivialent is good. It is good. It's cool. I'm considering compiling from source with all these patches Trivialent uses and has made. Here, I'm just gonna solve this because apparently Magic the Gathering Arena, they like to play anime level plot or anime plot level armor. Like a bunch of retards. Okay, let's see. Oh! Oh, 2025 Jesse's Cafe. Ladybird is a relatively new browser engine originating from Serenity OS project. Currently, it's in pre-alpha and improving quickly. Take a look at the website and the GitHub for more information. I'll be researching the JavaScript engine Ladybird lib.js. Boo, JavaScript. Architecture. Lib.js is an interpreter tier and no compilation tiers yet. It includes common modern JS engine optimization and built with extensive verification checks across critical code paths and data structures, including vectors, making scenarios such as integer overflow leading out of the bounds access harder to exploit. It's been like 2 to 3 years to your privacy career, and this guy can't spell. Hey, man. You can be into privacy and security, and you literally doesn't mean you know how to spell. Spellings for pussies. Writings for losers. Okay, fuzzing. We'll be using Fuzili, a possible fuzzer for JavaScript interpreters. Here's the description from GitHub. A coverage guided fuzzer for dynamic language interpreters based on the custom intermediate language, FuzzLL, which can be muted and translated to JavaScript. Fuzzy can be configured with additional code generators that can be specialized to trigger specific bugs. Lib.js isn't actively being OSSS fuzz, so I didn't add any custom generators and hope there would be enough shallow bugs around. There are already some persistent fuzzing code in lib.js. After some work, like needing to compile and link Skia with RTTI, Nix, fixing some build scripts and compiling fuzzing with additional profile. Again, Nix was great for this. I got it all working. I ran the fuzzer for like 10 days and around 10 unique crashes. A lot of bugs were boring. Verification failure, stack exhaustion, OOM bugs, bad bytecode. There were a few bugs that were more interesting. A caching bug in the regex parse and an integer overflow type array. Interesting. Initially, I thought regex bugs was an integer overflow. Unfortunately, it wasn't. The real integer overflow in typed array looked really promising, but it seemed hard to exploit. With all the bounds checked, protecting vectors from bad access. There were 3 bugs that looked really good: a heap buffer overflow, free list corruption or UAF in the garbage collector, and a heap use after free UAF in the malloc heap. But unfortunately, only lasted UAF was produced while outside of fuzzy. Fuzzy illy. The bug. A vulnerable function. The bug is a use after free on the interpreter's argument buffer. It's triggered by using a proxy function object as a conductor together with malicious get handle. Consider the following JavaScript. Gross. Function construct. New construct. The semantics are outlined here. This is how it's implemented in Ladybird. Huh. Let call text be the running no op kept by the VM execution cost, blah blah blah. The key parts are: first, it takes a reference to an buffer argument list. It creates a new object with the same prototype as the conductor function, and then it executes its constructor with the argument in an arguments list. If the vector the arguments list refers is freed at any point between 1 and 3, then the arguments list will dangle, and when it's used for the function call, it leads to a use after free. Let's look at an already create from constructor called at 2. Just following. Get a prototype of the constructed function, creates a new JavaScript object with that prototype. Huh. Oh! Let's see. UAVs tend to be a nice primitive to work with. In this case, a UAF occurs in the glib malloc heap, since whereas the argument rather in the garbage collector arena where a lot of the object actually resides, the malloc heap mainly holds back the buffers, such as interjection of complexity when it comes to the right object for a week, although this is somewhat unhinged. This was interesting. These are all very cool things. Very interesting. I'll have to read this. I'll have to put this, keep this these tabs open so I can read these later. Yeah, very awesome. I'll have to actually like read more on Jesse's Cafe. Bypassing a WAF with autocomplete. Interesting. All right, guys, it is an hour 29, hour and 20 minutes. I'm very zooted. I'll see y'all later in the next video. We're gonna learn more about free